Hello class, I will be taking your class on the subject of principles of management, but the chapter organizing. Okay, before we go ahead into discussing this particular term or this particular chapter, I would like to talk more about this to begin with. Okay, and I would use two different languages, English and Bengali. Okay, তো শুরু করা যাক আজকের ক্লাস. Since it is your first class, I will not be taking a long class. Okay, the video will not be that long, but make sure in the coming days পরবর্তীকালে কিন্তু ভিডিওসগুলো লং হবে and you might find it boring also, but I'll try my best not to make it sound boring. Okay, so to begin with, principles of management তোমাদের সেই সাবজেক্টটার নাম, আর আশা করি যে তোমরা এই সাবজেক্টটা 11-12 নিশ্চয়ই পড়েছো and you know a lot about it. Okay, তোমাদের জন্য হয়তো it is actually a revision class, but let me ask you one question. What do you understand by the term principles? I know my chapter is organizing, but what do you understand by the term principles? Okay, so let me give you some questions. What do you understand by the term principles? Okay, why are we studying this subject? Okay, দেখো, what I believe is, if we do not understand why we are studying this subject, there is no point of studying it. আমরা যদি নাই বুঝতে পারি যে আমরা কেন এই সাবজেক্টটাকে পড়ছি, তাহলে এটা খালি একটা সাবজেক্ট হিসেবে রয়ে যাবে and we will not find it interesting at all. খালি মনে হবে হ্যাঁ একটা সাবজেক্ট দেওয়া আছে, মার্কস স্কোর করতে হবে, so let's study. No, I don't want it. Okay, what I want you to understand is this term, because this term actually answers the second question. Okay, so what do you understand by principles? A thought might come যে প্রিন্সিপাল মানে হয়তো রুলস হতে পারে, প্রিন্সিপাল মানে হয়তো বিভিন্ন ওয়েজ হতে পারে, but then let me tell you, principles are not rules. Principles তাইলে কি? Okay, let me tell you why they are not rules. কেন ওরা রুলস নয়? Because you see, the rule in India is to drive your car on the left hand side of the road. Okay, but the same rule is not applicable in the states, United States of America, right? So you see, rules can vary. So rules are susceptible to change with geographical regions. Kintu principles are those things which remain constant everywhere on earth. Even if you go to space, they will remain the same. They do not change according to geography. Okay, so principles of management, and in fact তুমি যদি এইভাবে দেখো যে rules can change but principles do not, then it actually answers the second question. How? Why are we studying this subject? First of all, the simple answer that will come to our mind is, oh, we are studying because somewhere down the line it helps managers to deal with employees, or it helps you to start up a business. Well, understandable, those are very good answers. কিন্তু একটা জিনিস তোমাদেরকে বলে রাখছি যে if you only think from the perspective that okay, I will become a manager one day, or I'll become a businessman one day, and then I'll apply this subject, let me tell you, when you are in that position, you won't even remember this subject. Okay, so then why are we studying this subject? We are studying because principle means that it is not just applicable in a corporate level, it is also applicable on a personal level. সোজা কথার অর্থ হলো যে এইটা যদি আমি খালি ভাবি যে একজন ম্যানেজারই অ্যাপ্লাই করতে পারবে ওর অর্গানাইজেশনে, বা একজন বিজনেসম্যানই ওর বিজনেস সেট আপ করার জন্য, এস্টাবলিশ করার জন্য এগুলো ইউজ করবে, then we have only half of the answer. We can actually use whatever knowledge we are gaining in our personal lives. আমাদের ব্যক্তিগত জীবনে এগুলো আমরা ব্যবহার করতে পারি। ইনফ্যাক্ট পরবর্তীকালে যখন তোমরা কলেজের কোনো ফিস্ট বা কোনো ফেয়ার বা কোনো প্রোগ্রাম অর্গানাইজ করবে, all these things will come into play. So don't think that this subject is only for scoring marks. This subject is there which helps a person to be a better manager, not just in a corporate field, but also in their personal lives. Okay? So here you go. We have the understanding of what is principles. তার মানে principles of management মানে কি, ম্যানেজমেন্টের সেই জিনিসগুলো which are constant all over the world and even in space, which do not change. ওটার মধ্যে one of the aspect that we are going to study is called organizing. Now one of the student asked me, sir, আমরা কি প্ল্যানিং করব না, ইন্ট্রোডাকশন করব না? মানে বইয়ে আগে পরে দেওয়া থাকে তো, তাই আগেটা আগে করতে হয়, পরেরটা পরে করতে হয়। দ্যাট ইজ আওয়ার বেসিক আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ডিং, বাট লেট মি টেল ইউ, সিন্স দে আর প্রিন্সিপালস, দে উইল নট চেঞ্জ। ওকে, সেকেন্ডলি, তুমি অলরেডি স্টাডি করেছো তোমার প্রিভিয়াস ক্লাসেসগুলোতে, সো ইউ উইল বি এবল টু অ্যাডজাস্ট উইথ ইট। থার্ডলি, different teachers are given different topics to teach. Okay, so I have been given organizing and I'll teach organizing. Okay, so I hope there will not be any problem to adjust when it comes to starting immediately with organizing. Okay, so now আমার এবার একটা প্রশ্ন আছে। Well, you are not in front of me physically, but at least you can still hear my question and think about it. Have you heard of the term organization? And have you heard of the term organizing? What is the basic difference between these two terms? আমি ওদের মানে জানতে চাইছি না, ওদের ডিফারেন্সটা জানতে চাইছি। এবার দেখো, আমরা এখানে লিখেছি সাবজেক্ট অর্গানাইজিং, সো ক্যান বি কল ইট অর্গানাইজেশন? সিম্পলি স্পিকিং, এই দুটো টার্মকে কিন্তু এই পার্টিকুলার চ্যাপ্টারে সিনোনিমাসলি ইউজ করা হবে। তার মানে হলো, সামটাইমস আইল কল ইট অর্গানাইজেশন, সামটাইমস অর্গানাইজিং। এটা কি আমার ইচ্ছা অনুযায়ী আমি করছি? নো, one term is actually for the classical use, মানে অনেক আগে যারা এই পার্টিকুলার সাবজেক্ট নিয়ে স্টাডি করেছে, they have used the term organizing. And now in the modern times people are using organization, but they are only pointing to the same basic thing. Okay, so these two terms will be used synonymously. Okay, so then let us start with the point that what is organizing or what is organization. প্রথমে বলে রাখি, this is the basic component of management. Basic মানে এটা ছাড়া you can have all the plans, you can have all the control systems ready, you can have all the motivational skills, you can have great leadership, but if you do not have organizing, or if you do not have an organizational skill, then your plans will not succeed, your motivational skills are useless, your leadership skills are a waste. একজন ব্যক্তি বলেছিল, he is of course a management expert, he said, take away everything, take away our factories, take away our market, take away everything from us, but just leave us with organization, and in 4 years we will establish the business again. ওই এক্সপার্টের মেইন বক্তব্যটাই হলো যে this is so basic that you can take everything away from us, but if you just leave the organization with us, then we will be able to re-establish ourselves in 4 years. So that says it all about the importance of this chapter. So now we shall look into some of the definitions. Now before I start definitions, let me also tell you something. Here this subject is a MCQ paper. আর যখন MCQ paper হয়, it is not sufficient to learn one or two definitions to be used in an answer, কারণ কি তুমি তো এখানে descriptive লিখবেই না. So actually what happens is you have to know all the writers and their definition, who has given what definition, okay? And for that class A সেগুলো করানো is not that practical, okay? And it will be quite boring. So this will be your task, that buy a book, go through all the writers and what they have written, and try to find out the difference in what they have written in their definition, and try to memorize it, okay? MCQ হয়ে হয়তো idea আসতে পারে যে okay, this becomes easy, but actually it becomes tough because you have to remember all the writers' name and what they have defined, okay? So to begin with, let us start with few of the writers. Again আমি বলেছি সব রাইটারকে কভার করানো হবে না, that is your task, your responsibility to do it, okay? So let's start with G.R. Terry. Okay, and remember, whatever writer's definition is given in the class will also be helpful in one way or the other in one or the other exam, okay? So pay attention. G.R. Terry, what did he suggest? Organizing is, that means he's defining, organizing is, first point that he said is it's establishing. Okay, what do we establish out there? Establishing effective behavioral relationship, okay? So now the question comes, why establishing a behavioral relationship? তার অর্থটা কি, okay? Or we can also ask, what is the reason behind setting up a relationship or effective relationship? And the reason is so that they may work together efficiently, okay? And if they work together efficiently, they will gain satisfaction in doing the tasks. It might sound a bit complicated, but just hold on, okay? Just hold on. So G.R. Terry, what has he said? মানে ওর লজিকটা কি? In his definition, establishing effective behavioral relationship. What is the reason behind it? So that they may work together efficiently. যখন ওরা একসাথে efficiently কাজ করবে, they will of course gain some satisfaction in doing the tasks. And why is it all happening? Ultimate reason is for achieving some goal or objective, okay? This is his basic definition. So how does it sound like if we read it together? Organizing is the establishing of effective behavioral relationships among persons so that they may work together efficiently and gain personal satisfaction in doing selected tasks under given environmental conditions for the purpose of achieving some goal or objective. Okay, I have not written the full definition, but I have written the basic structure of the definition. Okay, so G.R. Terry said this. Okay, let's take another person, Lois A. Allen, and see how he has defined it. Lois A. Allen. Okay, he has defined organizing as a process. Okay, so whenever we talk about something, যখনই আমরা কিছু প্রসেসের ব্যাপারে কথা বলি, we always know that process includes some steps or points. Okay, so let us try to understand his definition, why he has told about organizing as a process. Okay, so he said that organizing is a process of first identifying and grouping. Well, আমরা এখানে একটা প্রশ্ন করতে পারি, identifying what, grouping what? The answers are identifying the work and grouping the work to be performed. Okay, so Lois C. Allen কি বলছে? He's saying it is a process, আর এই প্রসেসে ফার্স্ট টাস্কটা কি? আইডেন্টিফাইং অ্যান্ড গ্রুপিং। কি আইডেন্টিফাই করা হচ্ছে? হোয়াট ইজ দ্য ওয়ার্ক টু বি ডান, দ্যাট ইজ বিং আইডেন্টিফাইড, আর সেই কাজগুলোকে গ্রুপ করা হচ্ছে, which will be performed. Okay, but this is the first step. What is the second thing that he's saying? He's saying, defining and delegating responsibility and authority. যখন কাজটাকে ডিভাইড করে দেওয়া হয়েছে, একটা কাজ করার জন্য অবশ্যই একটা রেসপন্সিবিলিটি এসে পড়ে কারোর ঘাড়ে, বাট সেই রেসপন্সিবিলিটিটাকে ক্যারি আউট করার জন্য অবশ্যই তাকে কিছু অথরিটি দিতে হয়। So he's saying, firstly, identify and group the work to be performed. Secondly, assign people, and then assign people to ki define who is going to work for which purpose, বা কোন কাজটাতে কে ইনভলভ থাকবে, and then delegate them some authority and responsibility so that they can carry out the given work. Third thing that he's saying is establishing relationships. Okay, so first, second, third কি বলছে? Identify and group the work, then define and delegate responsibility and authority, and establish relationships. এবার what is the purpose behind all this? The purpose is enabling people to work together in accomplishing objectives. Okay, so what is the ultimate target of organizing? দেখো, G.R. Terry has also said for achieving some goal or objective. Lois A. Allen has also said in accomplishing objectives. Okay, next thing that is common between the two definitions are there is a relationship that happens among different people. Okay, now relationship means that they share some authority and responsibility relationships. Okay, it's not talking about friendship or any other sort of relationship, it's just talking about working relationship. Okay, So এগুলো common জিনিস, but then do you see the difference between these two definitions? He's saying that okay, we establish a relationship and then people work together efficiently, there is satisfaction, and then this all leads to achievement of the objective. Lois Allen says, well, I think it is actually a process. তোমাকে আগে কাজটাকে ডিভাইড করতে হবে, then you have to appoint some people, give them some responsibility which will help them establish some relationships among themselves, which will in turn help in the accomplishment of objectives. Let's look at the third definition. Given by Kuntz and O'Donnell. Okay, what have they said? They simply spoke of organizing as establishment of authority relationships. Okay, establishment of authority relationships with provision for coordination between them. সোজা কথা বলতে they are very short in their approach towards their definition. They are simply saying organizing is the establishment of authority relationships with the provision for coordination. তার মানে কি with the provision of coordination এর কথার অর্থটা এখানে কি? সোজা কথা বলা হচ্ছে এই যে অথরিটি রিলেশনশিপস এস্টাবলিশ করা হচ্ছে, অথরিটি রিলেশনশিপস মানে কি, কার কি অথরিটি আছে অ্যান্ড হু ইজ রেসপন্সিবল টু হুম, এই যে একটা চেইন অফ কমান্ড একটা যেটা এস্টাবলিশ করা হচ্ছে, ডিফাইন করা হচ্ছে, দিস ইজ আলটিমেটলি লিডিং টু আ কোঅর্ডিনেশন। আর এই যে এস্টাবলিশমেন্টটা সেটা হচ্ছে কোথায়? ইট ইজ হ্যাপেনিং অল আন্ডার দ্য টার্ম অর্গানাইজিং অর ইন দ্য প্রসেস অফ অর্গানাইজিং। ঠিক আছে, অ্যান্ড this helps in the again achievement of the organizational goals. Okay, so I have given you 3 different definitions. There are plenty, অনেক কটাই আছে, but that is your task to go through. Okay, and your task to write them down, understand the core of it. You have time. Okay, and in the next class I shall discuss more on the topic of importance of organizing. Now let me tell you, whatever topics I teach in the videos or in the classes, they are exactly according to the syllabus. Syllabus e ja ja mention kora ache, I teach according to that. যে topic গুলো বলা আছে সেই topic গুলোই আমি পড়াই, ওর বাইরেও পড়াই না, ওর থেকে কমও পড়াই না। So I will suggest get books on this and start studying. If you really want to understand, if you really want to excel in this subject, buy books, start going through the definitions. তোমাকে হয়তো মুখস্থ করতে হবে না, but at least you have to be prepared well enough so that you can understand who has given what definition. কারণ কি এমসিকিউতে এরকম টাইপের কোয়েশ্চেন যে কোনো সময় আসতে পারে। And in the coming days I will also be giving you some MCQs to practice on, আর সেগুলো আমি গুগল ফর্মে সার্কুলেট করব। So be prepared and thank you so much for attending the class.